Since I started this YouTube channel and my website last year going into the gaming space, I've been fortunate enough to connect with some awesome representatives at various gaming publishers, and they've been kind enough to send me review copies of their games. Generally, I receive review copies of board games as well as tabletop role-playing games, and I try to do a full review of each one that I receive. However, doing this is not a paid gig for me. I do this out of fun and as a hobby. I have a full-time job that's not in the gaming industry. I have family and friends that I spend a lot of time with, and I also play in and run a lot of various tabletop role-playing games as well too. But I do want to share my thoughts about some of these games. So here's a quick snippet of 4 games that I played recently that I think are worthy to check out. So before we get right into it, here is something I want to share with you all for full transparency. All the game publishers did send me a review copy of the game for free. However, besides that, I did not receive any sort of compensation for getting the game. They also did not expect me to do a review of any kind for their game, so that was not a contingency for getting the review copy. And they did not watch this video or read my article prior to me publishing it, so they are watching this video and reading it at the same time as everybody else. All right, so the first game on our list, Gnome Hollow from the Op Games. Gnome Hollow is a tile and worker placement game, meaning that how you play and win the game is based on where you place the tiles on the board, as well as workers that are assigned to you. You play as gnomes against other players in an attempt to score as many points as possible by completing rings of mushrooms, collecting various types of flowers, and selling the mushrooms you've collected to gain valuable treasures. Not only are there different ways to score, but each type also has a different score amount. So needless to say, this game involves a lot of strategizing. There are a lot of things to love about this game. The trackers and boards are magnetic to make it easier for you to keep your tracker in place. The premium pieces, which is a separate purchase, are very nice, upgrading your game from the cardboard pieces to the wooden pieces. The art is magnificent and beautiful, but my favorite thing about this game is how the instructions are made to give a sense of immersion, which I am a sucker for things like that. As you read the instructions, you'll see it's written from the point of view of someone who spotted a gnome and now knows that they are real and exist. A great yet simple way to bring your game to life. Now, one thing my friend and I kind of struggled with at first when we were playing this game is that when you put in the tiles, they need to be connected to a path. And sometimes it's easy to overlook that and realize that you might be connecting a tile that's technically not supposed to be connected because it's not connected to a path. So we realized probably about a third away in the game that there were some tiles we placed that weren't supposed to be there. So that's an easy thing to overlook. But as long as you know that, you're going to have a lot of fun playing this game. Next up, we have Heroes of Barcadia from the company Rollacrit. Now, if you love fantasy, Dungeons & Dragons, dungeon crawling, and drinking, then this game should be on your shelf. Using a liquid health system, you explore a dungeon by moving onto a tile, then flipping it to reveal what's in the room. If there's a boss or monster, you must attack it by rolling a d20 and adding any modifiers you gain along the way. Meet or exceed that attack number, you successfully killed it and get anything that's in that room. Roll the under it, and you drink your cup down to that many hit points listed on the creature. Now, some rooms are filled with treasures. You can place traps on rooms as well. The winner is declared when a player with 3 power-ups finds and defeats the Grand Drink Guardian to claim the drink hoard. Now, not only is this game a lot of fun to play, but it was very quick to learn. The rules are very straightforward, even if you're not familiar with Dungeons & Dragons or other fantasy combat D20 games. Although the game was made to be an alcoholic drinking game, you can definitely substitute the drink for juice or soda and make it a family-friendly game if you wish. Now, one of the great things that I love about this game are the tiles, and really all of the materials in the game is waterproof, with this genius on the Rollacrit's part, because this is a good way to make sure that a game that involves liquid and drinking stays as long as possible and is very durable, so that way if you do spill over it, it's not going to ruin the game for you. However, we did learn very quickly that these are very hard to flip over, so when you're going into a room, you have to reveal what's in that room. We took like probably a few seconds or so to try to grab it, especially when you're laying it around and you're kind of creating the dungeon initially. You're trying not to knock off or move the other tiles in the way. So my recommendation is to get like either scotch tape to put around your finger, or maybe one of those like plunger darts that you might see in a little toy gun or something like that, just to be able to cling onto it and pick it up and flip it over a little bit easily. But this is a very fun game. I promise you this is something that you'll definitely enjoy. Next up is Queen by Midnight Quarter Past by Darrington Press. The newly released standalone expansion game Queen by Midnight Quarter Pass continues to deliver that top-notch gaming experience from Queen by Midnight by providing 4 new princesses with unique playstyles, new bazaar cards, a new rules set for a 2-player game, all provided in a smaller, travel-friendlier box. And just like the base game, the artwork here is absolutely stunning and beautiful. There's a lot to love about this game. It uses a turn-based countdown system, meaning that after everyone takes their turn, that hour or round is completed, and you move on to the next hour, which may have new triggers and capabilities. So you're spending the first few rounds building up a hand and strategy, then when you get closer to midnight, attacks, betrayal, chaos ensues. Each princess also has their own unique playstyle, which makes it very interesting and avoids becoming stale over time. I also love that they provided a flat clock tower for this game, but the base game's dice tower and artwork is just so iconic for Queen by Midnight that we went ahead and pulled it out just for this game to use. Now this has become quickly one of my favorite games to play. I had a lot of fun playing this. Just like Queen by Midnight, some of the rules are going to be a little bit confusing or seem a little vague at first. So it's probably going to take you a couple times playing and reading through the instructions very carefully to get a good understanding of how to play the game and what some of the phrases and mechanics really works when you play it. But once you get through that, you're going to absolutely love playing this game. It's definitely by far one of my favorite games that came out this year. And finally, we have Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang's Destiny from the Op Games. If you enjoy playing Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, then you'll definitely enjoy Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang's Destiny. There's a lot of similarities with this game, and you don't need to have a working knowledge of the popular anime series to enjoy it. Case in point, I know nothing about Avatar: The Last Airbender. In this game, you work with other players to defeat all of your adversaries and complete your objectives before the Fire Nation arrives and captures you. There are 7 boxes for increasingly more difficult levels of play that makes it fun and challenging. You select a character to play as, and each character has their own ability that allows you to unlock and use certain features of a bending card that you can purchase from the market. As you attempt to complete objectives, your team also gain character cards that they can use as part of their hand as well. This is a game that my kid loved playing for days, so it's definitely something to consider if you have any children who enjoys this kind of game or anyone that enjoys the Avatar intellectual property. Now, with that being said, there are a few things to be aware of with this game. First of all, it's a very fun yet complex game, and it's going to take some time to have to organize and sort things out after you play because there are cards that fit through different levels. And so there's cards that, for example, might say this is for box 3 through 7, and you might have that mixed up with other cards that might be boxes 5 through 7. So it takes a while to sort those things out. So it's definitely one of those games that I learned very quickly that you're going to spend some time at the end of it to organize everything. If you're like me, you want to make sure everything is back the way you found it, and you can find things very quickly. When we got the game shipped to us, I did notice that if you look here, the player boards and the cards and stuff like that are a little bit warped. So this made it a little bit difficult to play with just because it's not flat on the table. We don't know if this was just our box or if this is a common experience with the shipping for this game in particular. So I can't really say one way or another if this is something to expect or not, but I just want to share that that is our experience of what we got when it was sent to us. Last but not least, the rule book needs a little bit of work because there is a section in there that says additional rules, which by the title itself makes it sound like those are rules that you could use or implement. So when we're trying to learn the game, we weren't quite sure how to play it until I realized that the additional rules just means that those are actually the base rules. They just expanded it out in a different section. So for me, I would have rather see the rules kind of either have a clearer title, whether it says, detailed rules or something like that. Additional rules just made it sound like it was more something that you could implement, but it's like optional in a sense, or just explain the rules as you're going through the different stages of the game as well too. There's also a little bit of oversight with some things as well too. For example, we were trying to figure out what to do with some of the hero cards, and on page like 6 or 8, it says go to page 12 to find more details about the hero cards, but we went to that page and there was nothing mentioned about the details of the hero cards. So it seems like that may have been an oversight. I looked through other pages. I didn't find anything else. I thought maybe, the number didn't get changed appropriately or not, but just something to keep in mind and think about and be prepared when you get this game. But honestly, we played this for days. It is a lot of fun. It is something that, again, The Op Games created Hogwarts Battle, and this is very similar to that. We love Hogwarts Battle. This has a very similar feel to it. So even people who I know that enjoy Harry Potter but don't know anything about Avatar, don't enjoy Avatar, they'll still enjoy this game because it plays very similar, just with a different theme to it. And there are differences that makes it a different game and not just a reskinning of the same game that they created. So that's it. We had Gnome Hollow, Heroes of Barcadia, Queen by Midnight, Quarter Pass, and Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang's Destiny. I hope you enjoyed this video and that one of these games captured your attention and you might want to check it out. So thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you all next time.